first and foremost, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
And sorry, Rachel, I was taking your seat. I saw your name there, and I thought I'm only going to be there for a few minutes, and then of course have it back. So great to see you all here. Certainly some familiar faces. Anyone seen me present before? I know a few of you have. Okay, excellent. So for those I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, it's a pleasure to be here on a beautiful British Sunday morning. So I understand you guys have had a couple of intensive days and are learning a lot, and hopefully you get a lot out of this session today. The purpose of this session, as it says up there, is called How to Build a Rockstar Business. Now, I should probably cover the purpose of the name before we get started, because yes, my career was in investment banking. I was at Goldman for just under 5 years in wealth management. I sought the advice and support of one of the biggest partners in that company and asked him to mentor me over that 12-month period, within a 12-month period, because I've always believed that the fastest way to achieve success in what you are doing in business, whether it's your own business or whether you work for someone else, which is what I was doing at the time, the fastest way to achieve your goals and success is to find someone who has already done it. You find someone who has already achieved the goals that you want to get to and the business dreams that you want to achieve, and you get them to show you how to do it. And that's what I did at Goldman. When I came to the UK 12 years ago, I wanted to start investing in property. I couldn't believe what banks were throwing at people back in 2005. I couldn't believe the yields that you could achieve, and I wanted a piece of it. But I'd never done it before. So I found someone who had built an £8 million portfolio in 2 years. I paid him to take me out and show me how to do what he did. And as a result, I bought a number of properties in the first year in London, around East London, and back in 2005, so you can imagine, the returns have been very, very strong. And so I've always believed in it. So when I came up with the concept of a business mentoring product, I was looking at different names and names that I didn't, that would resonate, that were powerful and positive, and wouldn't be pigeonholed in, in a certain sector. And the reason I came up with Rockstar is because when I was at Goldman Sachs, my escape from those long 12, 14, 16-hour days was being a singer in a rock and roll band. So for 3 years I was a singer in a rock band, never quite made the goal of being the next John Bon Jovi. So when I came up with my first business, that's where the brand came from, and we've been going now for 9 years. And over the journey, I've learned a lot. It's been going since 2007. As it says at the bottom part there, I have learned a lot along the way. The company started phenomenally. During the recession, though, in 2008, affordability from clients became a problem. We started to lose clients, we started to lose money. I had to invest, I had to sell some of my investment properties to keep the business going. So as you all know, because I know a lot of you here are business owners, wanting to grow business, wanting to rebuild businesses, it's not always smooth sailing. In fact, it's never a smooth journey. There are always ups and downs, and for every single up I've had downs. And I think you would agree that you learn a lot more in the down periods. And I think you really, tell me if you agree, when your back is against the wall, that's when you really find in yourself what sort of entrepreneur, what sort of business person you can be. Do you agree with that? Yeah? So I've been through it, and as a result, you'll see what started purely as a mentoring company is now so much more. Because what we've realized is giving the advice from guys who have been there and done it, and helping set those goals and working with you to achieve those goals, over the years we've realized that people and the advice and the businesses that are coming to us effectively all had the same problems. Didn't matter what sector they were in, they were all coming and looking for advice because they all had the same key problem, is they weren't achieving the goals they were wanting to. But the reasons why the businesses aren't working are down to very, very similar things. Number one, it's undercapitalized. Number two, the sales team or the team around you doing the sales aren't hitting their goals, and there's not enough management for those sales teams. Number three, the marketing strategies that you're employing are the wrong ones. A big one that happens a lot that we found, because we've mentored nearly 8,000 companies over the years, is that there isn't a synergy between what your salespeople are doing and what your marketing strategy is doing. And it's a simple thing that can be so very quickly interlinked. And the other thing that we realized too is we've had some phenomenal case studies over the years. I'll share some of them with you today. But once the business starts to make money, once you are now in profit and your profits are growing, or even now if you're sitting here with a great business, it's what can you be doing with that money to build wealth. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about what we do on that side. You know, how we created a very unique opportunity where some of your investments can be allocated into investing in fast growth private companies, our hedge fund, different assets that we can do that are going really, really well. Now the first thing I want to talk about though is business. Just by show of hands here, who are my business owners in the room so I know? Okay, great. Who are my investors in the room so I know? Okay, wonderful. So combination of the two. So I'm going to start, this presentation is going to start on the business side of things, and then I'm going to lead into the investment side of things. Now when I think of businesses or sectors and all the thousands of businesses that I meet over the years, and even in days like today, or even when I'm sitting down in small groups, is this image here, right? Now, to me, when I hear people in their 30-second pitch, and I hear what they're doing and what sector they're in, I'm reminded of this picture. And you might find this as well too. That to me is a representation of most British sectors, or even sectors of business. What am I trying to say there? Pardon? Not chaos, no. In a way chaos, yes, but you've got a number of small businesses there all doing the same thing. Right? Most businesses are what we call penguins. Right? They're all the same. Their website might be slightly different. The logo might be slightly different. They might have one or two services that are a little bit different to everyone else, but in short, the pricing's about the same, the branding's about the same, and they go around doing their best, trying to achieve their goals and what have you. But at the end of the day, there is so little point of difference, and they've started the business usually incorrectly, that most businesses spend their life as a penguin, never really breaking through or being that new big brand, that well-known brand inside that sector. Does anyone agree with that? Yep? Yeah. So this is what we like to do. Our motto, and this is from our guys in the States who gave us this visual analogy, is our goal, what a rockstar business is effectively the elephant amongst the penguins. And if you think about, especially in the US, you know, if you look at online e-commerce, who's your elephant in that sector? Starts with an A. I mean, look at what it's done. I mean, within all the sectors, all of these different businesses, they tend to have different, they tend to have very, very similar traits. And what I'm talking about today is how you build a rockstar business. And there are 5 key points that I'm going to be going through today. So first and foremost, let's look at the different products and how we help do it. So, as I said before, Rockstar started as mentoring. But then, of course, we realized that we're making money for all of these businesses. We want to now start creating wealth for them. So we built Rockstar Capital, as well as Rockstar Wealth and Rockstar Crowdfunding. And of course, in the midst of all that, when we're dealing with investors that require legal services. So this all came about through partnerships, acquisitions, and mergers. There were the 3 ways that we did it. So Rockstar Capital is our hedge fund. So we went out and we found the best performing hedge fund in the world right now. It's called Runestone Capital. It's got tens of millions under management. Net of fees, so far since January this year, it's achieved 36% net of fees since January. It's the best performing. Check it out on Bloomberg in the European markets and the US markets. Now, the second thing we have is our crowdfund. So when we are raising money for our businesses, is anyone here looking to raise money for their companies at the moment? Yep, a couple of you are. So we looked at this sector, and rather than try and create a whole nother crowdfund that just competes with all these guys, we looked at the market, like what you'll hear we do, what we've always done. If we're getting into business or looking at a new market, we always find out first what are the real problems that are being faced by businesses in that market. And the crowdfund market is crazy right now. You know, Crowdcube, as an example, has to pay for the marketing and the manpower to look at 1,000 business plans in a month. They reject 900 of those business plans. And the 100 that go on the platform, on average, only 10 to 15 actually get closed. And they only make 5 to 6% of those 10 to 15. And that 5 to 6%, of those 10 to 15 is then supposed to cover the cost of 1,000, channels of marketing. And it's a big issue. And the reason why they reject 900 businesses is because because the first question that any crowdfund asks its applicants is, do you have a lead investor? Or do you have a cornerstone investor? Because your campaign's only going to be running for 30 to 60 days, right? So do you have someone who on day one of the campaign is willing to put in 30, 40, 50% of the money that you're raising? Because if you don't have that, we're not going to get to our completion of capital, because 60 days to raise 250,000 starting from zero is very, very difficult. People are like sheep when it comes to crowdfunding. If they see 40% is already backed on day one, then instantly the momentum starts. Does that make sense? So that's a big problem. And then we spoke to the entrepreneurs and they said, I can't, I've been rejected for this crowdfund. I can't go out and find 50% with a business plan and a bank account, because investors just don't do that. So when we built our crowdfund, we obviously fully FCA regulated. We control two things. We control firstly how long the campaign needs to be. And so we can set it for 8 months. We can set it for 8 months. If you raise your money in 2 months, that's fine. But let's firstly take the pressure away of that 30, 60 day tight window. That's the first thing. The second thing we do is we control the minimum investment that you want people to put money in. So if you want to raise money quickly and you have a sophisticated investor network like us, we put a minimum of 5,000, 10,000, 25,000 as a minimum investment. If it's a product which is more low product margin and one that you want consumers to get involved with, you can bring it right down to £100, £200, etc. But what we do is this. Crowdcube have got 450,000 people in their network. So we quietly raise the 35-40% cornerstone or lead investment through 100 people, through 50 people. And all of that money, when people are coming in, investing, it's all going into one account, which is our law firm's, once again regulated, our law firm's trust account. So the partnership that we now have with every crowdfund is we only come to them with companies like yours who over the last few weeks, we've raised the 35%, we've got the 45%, it's banked in our law firm's account. You with me? So they love it because we can show them, here's a great business, it's already got 45 banked, guaranteed. It was easy to do because we didn't run around trying to find 1 or 2 big investors. We created that lead investor through multiple people, which allows us to raise the remaining 60% on their platform very, very quickly. And when we come across great businesses, businesses that are growing, that have got great margins, that are rockstar businesses, which we'll hear about in a second. What makes a rockstar business, I'm going to go through. But when we're raising businesses that we own, that we run, you'll see very quickly that we don't need a lot of the money that we raise for. We don't need it because we've already got our sales teams, we've already got our offices, we've already got our marketing, and we implement everything that we've got into those companies, which means that we're giving the opportunity for our partners, our clients, to invest in fast-growing businesses where their margins are very high. And we don't, if we raise £500,000, or we're doing one right now, we're doing a £2 million raise, we don't need 2 million. So whilst that's sitting in our account, we don't sit it in our bank account, earning 2% a year, we put it temporarily for the next few months into our hedge fund, which is netting about 2.9% a month. So when it comes to investment and in Rockstar businesses, we've built the whole platform to make sure that we're making a strong return on investment for businesses. And companies come to us all the time. They come to us all the time. John, this is my business, help me grow it. Help me build it. I need a mentor. I need people to help me implement, improve my margins, etc. So it's not just mentoring. We've got access to amazing mentors, and I'll show you how we do that on the app very soon. We've got a fantastic digital and marketing company, which is growing very, very well. Is anyone looking to develop an app, by the way? Anyone looking to build an app or whatnot? Okay. I recently acquired an app development company because it's one of the biggest rip-off industries in the world. And I can promise you, because I have just spent a shed load building our app and realized very, very quickly that of course they charge so much more than what it costs them because that's their only business. They're in the business of saying, that's the app, thank you for the money, good luck. You see, when we launched our app company, it was, let's do it at 50% less than what the people charge, because once you've got a great looking app, What are you going to need to grow it? You're going to need capital. You're going to need salespeople. You're going to need someone who knows that industry to come on in. So that's working really well. The app development company continues to grow. As I said, we own a law firm. We have office solutions for people. And then more importantly is once you're making that money, it's having the right plan. And I just out of interest, has anyone ever done a proper financial plan for themselves? Okay, only a few of you. And who are the same guys who put their hands up as the investors before. This is what I never understand about us as entrepreneurs. It's only the investors who put their hand up. When we're talking about a proper financial plan, guys, what we're talking about is what is the age you want to retire? How much money do you want in the bank? What are your current income sources that you're achieving? Ideally, if you want to sell your company in the future, what is the level of exit that you are happy with? What do you want to be leaving for your children? And with all of this sort of information and assets and knowledge about what you are now doing, is we are building a specific financial plan, whereby some of your asset allocation should be going into one of Matthew Moody's HMOs. A portion should be going into one of the other products we're hearing about today. A portion should be going into our hedge fund, or should have an allocation across our fast-growing companies. But it's all about creating a plan which then leads to multiple revenue sources. And I'm a big believer of that. For your business, when Rockstar started, there was one revenue source, which was people would pay to get access to the mentors, the clients would be charged X, the mentors would be paid Y. Very, very soon after that, we started the investment side, where we were investing in businesses. As the years have gone on, we've added a sales outsourcing team, we've added an app development company, a law firm, a hedge fund, a crowd fund, all under the same brand. You can do this for your companies. It's one of the first things we teach at our workshops, how to build a rockstar business. It's all about adding those multiple sources of income to it. I'll give you a recent example. So PCS Instruments, you can check them out. This is a company that's been going for 15 plus years. And like most SMEs who come to us, they have got, and often it's the case, and some of you would resonate with this, the glass ceiling effect. Do you know what I mean by that? You've been working for years, you've got some great products, they're selling well, but for the last few years, their ability to break through that annual revenue amount, that annual sales amount, half the time it's because the companies are exhausted, in the sense that the number of actual customers left to sell to and target to is very, very difficult. They just wear out their sector. So when that happens, what you need to be doing is, of course, creating new products. And that's one thing about mentoring, is just having someone else, especially when you've been in business for 15 years, come in and have that helicopter perception view. And it was clear to the mentor here that it was primed to add new products that you then add on and bolt on to the customers that you already have. So within 5 months of doing it, it took a couple of months to mold it and create and put it all together. In their first quarter of selling, it was £150,000 in new sales. And the cost of delivering that is less than $15,000. Because one thing you want to hear about me is that I am a stickler for margin. I'm an absolute stickler for margin. High margin, high ticket value. If you currently do not have a company that sells a high margin, high ticket value, I want you to start thinking, and I'll give you some points today as to what you can do to start adding that to your business. Because, one of the companies we've just invested in, for example, right, straight out of Oxford University, it's been a meditech company, it's patented all over the world. They have a hardware unit which costs us £1,100 to buy from them, and we sell it into Manchester United, McLaren F1, British Swimming. These are real sales that we've done recently. We sell it to them for £6,500 to £7,000, and they don't just buy one instrument. And the instrument, of course, is measuring the health of their elite athletes. So every time they do a test, they need another small piece of kit which goes in every time. So it's a high margin hardware which they buy in volume, and then they have to continually buy more and more of them. £1,100 cost, £6,500 sale. The instruments cost us 17p on average. We sell them effectively for 75p, and we sell them in units of hundreds. See, I love those sorts of businesses, because if the sales guys have a bad month, There are 3 of them working on it at the moment full time. They're averaging each about 8 to 10 sales a month. But if they have a bum month, it doesn't matter because 1 sale will cover their basics. 2 sales of those products, we've made a small profit. I love those businesses. As opposed to other people who call them high margin. It costs me £2, but I'm out there selling it for £8. So as a margin, percentage-wise, it's huge. Yes, but it's £6. And you have to sell a lot of those products to even cover your basic salary that month, which means it's high margin, yes, but it's not because the monetary value is £6, which means it's a high volume play. High volume plays mean that you need to be spending so much more capital on marketing to even cover the cost of hundreds of these sales. Believe me, you do not have to pay for a Facebook campaign, you don't have to pay for a LinkedIn campaign, you don't have to pay for any tube advertising when you're selling a Meditech company to the sports doctor of Manchester United. You know what you need to do? Pick up the phone and set up a meeting or leverage off one of the mentors. So for example, one of the guys in our group is Bill Sweeney. You can check him out. He's the CEO of the British Olympic Committee. Before that, he was CEO of Adidas. He knows a few people in the sports sector. So when we raised money for this company, we go to Bill and we incentivize Bill by gifting him equity in the company that we've just invested in, which then allows him to open his black book. Because I'm a big believer that people buy from people. Do you agree with that? And when you've got the leverage of big name mentors who are providing that for you, things move a lot faster. So I'm a stickler for looking at every business that we work with and thinking, what can we be doing to add high margin, high ticket products under your brand? You don't have to create them. You can do what we've done and acquire them. Or do a JV partnership deal with them so that they're coming in and working with you. And then most importantly, looking at the business, where are you wasting money? Why are the sales margins not where they are? What can we be doing to reduce and bring down those marketing costs? So let's look at the different things now. I'll show you one of the products that we recently launched and how it came about. And this is our Rockstar app. Because we always want to look at where technology is taking us as well. We want to look at the sector you're in, how you're currently offering your service, and how we can leverage off technology to make it work. So the app's called Rockstar Business World. It's already available on Google Play right now. It's an optimized site. If you don't like apps, it's rockstarbusinessworld.com. The Apple Store, we're having to do some recoding at the moment because they've just changed their requirements on Xcode. So we've just had to take it off Apple, but it'll be up there in the next week or so. So what is it? Well, when I came up with the idea, this is why I came up with it. I'd been mentoring businesses offline, which we still do for a number of years. But I thought, look at where technology's going. What can we do to take our mentoring brand and scale it on an international level that is in line with what consumers expect and demand now? So I thought, okay, so here's my idea. I'm going to create an app. And it's going to have one section on it, which is Get Mentored. So how it's going to work is specifically, the user tells us, I want to get mentored right now. That then takes them to a page where it says, well, what sector are you in? And obviously this scrolls up and down because there's no point, if you're in health and fitness, there's no point being mentored in the health and fitness sector if you're in the, e-commerce. So you tell us the sector you're in, and then it says, well, what do you need advice in right now? What are you looking for help with right now? Is it at the early stage, or is it maybe on your team? Are you trying to raise money? Are you trying to go global? Are you trying to sell your company? So by giving us those 2 specific areas, I'm in retail, I really need help with sales, out of the hundreds of hours of content we've got, it only then pulls out all of the mentors who have built up and sold companies for millions, and in Tom's case, hundreds of millions, giving you that advice for free. So you're only ever hearing the advice from guys in your sector who have been there and done it. And as you're watching these videos for free, you're going to get a real feel of the personality of these different guys and girls. So you're like, do you know what, I really like Sir Tom. Or I really like with retail, Pablo Edinger, the co-founder of Cafe Nero. Or Will King, the founder of King of Shaves. Or Lara Morgan, Pacific Direct. Gok Wan, right? The list goes on. My favourite interview to date is Will Butler Adams, OBE, he runs Brompton Bicycles. If you've ever seen him talk before, Amazing guy. We interviewed him on the floor, literally the production line in London where they produce Brompton bicycles. Awesome guys. And as you're watching these, there are two buttons. Watch full interview, which means upgrade to Rockstar Pro for £10 a month to get access to all the content by all the mentors, or book one-to-one. So you can now book one-to-one with these guys. If you're in the same country, it's face-to-face. But last week we had a client from Tokyo sign up, a client from Hong Kong sign up, and they're happy to have Skype sessions with these guys, whether it's 1 hour, 4 hours, or like someone this week said, the guy in Tokyo said, I want 2 hours with this guy, 2 hours with this guy, and 1 hour with this guy over the next few months. So is that pretty cool? Right? So freemium, lead up, scale, get access. And we've got most are from the UK, but we've got 7 from China, 6 from Australia, and speaking with the guys about doing more in the US. But here's the point. The first step I'm going to tell you about building a rockstar business is all about being different. Okay? And I'll come to that in a sec. The first step to build a rockstar business is that it's all about, write it down, be different. And you've got to create a genuine point of difference that you're not going to come up with, that your perfect customers are going to come up with. So under be different, write this sentence down. Who are my perfect customers? Who are my perfect customers? And where do they hang out online and offline? Who are my perfect customers and where do they hang out online and offline? And they are going to be the only 2 places you ever spend any of your time or money in getting them to you. Every single business I have ever built, every single business I ever mentor, we get that step right first. You need to know for sure who are the people in this world right now who are most likely and most probable will have an interest and a strong desire to buy my product or service. If you're selling to other businesses, so if you're B2B, what is the title of that person? What sector are they in? And what are the list of the companies? Now, when you've got these people, or if it's B2C, is it a specific age bracket? Is it a specific sex? Is it a specific demographic? Multiple, in terms of wealth and where they're located geographically. Really understand who is most likely the most relevant person who is interested in buying your product. Once you know that, where are they hanging out online and offline? And only ever investing your time and money in those areas. That's what we do. But before that, this is the topic of being different. Every business I've ever started, every business I've ever assisted and or mentored, I do this. We are going to create a USP that they are going to mold with us. So when I came up with the app idea, that was all I had. Right? Now most of you said, that's really cool. On-demand access to some of the best, specifically down to what I want right now on the go, and then I have the choice if I want to upgrade or not. Everyone thought that was great. But here's the most important thing. I always get at least 100 people in a room, or 2 times 50, or even 10 on 10. I prefer 100 on 1, but if people don't like presenting to a big audience, you can do it in smaller groups. You firstly get perfect customers in a room, and they're here because they're going to help mold your new business product, or they're going to help create your startup business right now. So you've already got the idea of what you think the USP is, but the mistake so many business owners make is they say, I've checked out the market, no one's doing this, this looks awesome, my mum thinks it's great, my accountant says it's great, and the 4 people I spoke to at the networking event, they think it's great, so that's enough to start spending money, website, business cards, or start developing the app, or start going to, producing the product, and all the money's then spent up front, then you go out to the market and no one cares. This is a bad thing, this happens all the time. You realize that your USP is something that the market doesn't really care about. And it's the biggest mistake entrepreneurs make. We are the most biased customers of our product. Think about it. Why are we trying to create the USP of our brand? We are the most biased customer of our own companies. Of course it's great. In your minds, it's your company. So this is what I do. Not 5 people's feedback, not a survey monkey, 100 physical people in the room. Do you like it? Would you pay for it? How much would you pay for it? But most importantly, what am I missing? That's the question that will mold you and start a phenomenal business. What am I missing? So do you like it? Would you pay for it? How much would you pay for it? What am I missing? In other words, the final question is, what is missing in this product or service right now that if it was there, you would be like, that's a no-brainer, I'm paying money right now. Okay? So I did that with the Rockstar app. I showed them that. Do you like it? Yes. Would you pay for it? Yes. How much would you pay for it? Depends on who the mentor is, effectively. What am I missing? What is missing in this platform that would make you say, that is awesome, I want to buy it right now? So one guy puts his hand up and says, well, the mentoring is great, but given the scale of what this platform could do, can't you create an area on it that lets us as owners of businesses promote our own companies? So could we maybe pay you to advertise our own companies on the platform? What a great idea. I never thought of that. So we built the marketplace, £27. And it doesn't stay there for a certain period of time, it stays there forever. You create your own ad on the platform, you tell us what sector you want it to be featured in the market, and there is your advert. And it sits there, which you can optimize. And it's 50% less than any other social media platform that exists, 27 quid. Then someone else put their hand up and said, you know what's really annoying, Jonathan, is if I pay for a Facebook ad, it's never going to appear on Twitter. If I pay for a LinkedIn ad, it's never going to appear on Facebook. Now this is a long shot, John, I know, but do you think it would be possible that if you paid for a Rockstar ad, that you would be able to then viralize and share that advert that you paid for once across all of your other social platforms? Wow, that would be pretty cool, yeah? I'd never heard of that. Someone in the room told me that. And then someone else said, oh my God, and I said, who likes that idea? Everyone puts their hand up. So we did it. We built it in. You pay for a Rockstar ad, and then you can now share your Rockstar ad across all of your other social networks at no cost. That's what's made the valuation of this thing start to go through the roof, because every time someone pays £27 and pushes the advert out on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, why would they do that? Because they want more sales of their product. So when one of their friends, though, sees the ad and clicks through, where does it take them? To their ad, but inside our platform. So our clients, and then they all start registering and signing up, so our clients have become our biggest marketers. I didn't think of that. One of you guys did. And then someone else came along and said, John, I don't have a business right now, but I'm trying to raise money right now. So it would be great to have a section in the app whereby I'd be able to pitch or pay £27, but rather than sell a product, actually pitch for investment. Yes, we can do that. So that was the final thing. So I've always, the first thing to build a Rockstar business is to create a genuine point of difference. But you're not the one to create the point of difference. It's not you. It should never be you. You come up with the idea, but then it's your customers who are going to mold that for you. And I would rather you guys have 100 people in the first 6 months of your new product and your brand or your new business. I'd rather you make 100 sales and the 100 people who bought from you absolutely love you versus having 1,000 people buy from you and just think it's okay. Does anyone else agree with that? Just so I know. Okay? So important. We are not in the business of technology. We're not in the business of consulting. We're not in the business of property. All of you guys do different things. You're all going to learn from us is that you are in the business of trust. Every one of us. You're not in the business of property. You're not in the business of technology. You're not in the business of medicines. We are all today in the business of trust. And I want you to remember that. Because the fastest way to build fans, the fastest way to build people who love the brand are the ones who feel that they helped create it. Now I know some of you have been in business for 10 years. I've been in business for 9 years. But I set up a crowdfund only a year ago. So when I created this, as I told you, I did not assume what the USP was. I went and spoke to all the crowdfunds. What's the problem? What's the pain point? Yeah, we have 1,000 applications. We make money from 10 of them. That's a big problem. Entrepreneurs who are trying to raise money, what's the problem? We get rejected all the time and are told to go out and find one person to put in 35, 40% with a bank account and a pitch deck. That's a problem. Investors, what's the problem? I love this company, I want to invest in this business, but it's a pitch deck and a bank account. I have to cover all the legal costs to make a small investment. So by listening to the problems, we created a USP, and then we went and we verified it. And this was a company that at the time was 8 years old, so you can always do it. So that's the crowdfund. This is the intro page to our hedge fund, Rockstar Capital. Our app development company, right, Rockstar Apps, so check it out if you are looking to develop an app. Here is our law firm within the group. So as you can see, there are a number of different companies you've got within the group, catered for whatever your business goals are, whatever you're trying to achieve, they're there for you. So the first one I've already spoken about is creating a genuine point of difference. The second one is great. I've already covered that. The two things about being great. First and foremost is the engagement with the customers, is the management of your customers. So be great is about the management and the customer experience, the customer journey. I used an example of Amazon before. When they say to you online, it's going to arrive on Tuesday, they know it's going to arrive on Monday. But they say it's going to arrive on Tuesday. It's that, I think, out of all the businesses that has just nailed that great systems to create great client engagement, they would be up with one of them. And that's one of the elephants of the world amongst the penguins, using that analogy from before, is that they have this consistent message of under-promise and over-deliver. And that is the most important thing about being great. The second most important thing about being great, as I said before, are your margins. A great business is one that is selling its product or service at a high margin and ideally high ticket prices as well. Every company that we offer for investment into our network, companies that we've backed, companies that we've partnered with, companies that we own, they're across all different sectors, but the one trait they all have in common is their